to the Contenders. I'm your host, Peg Young. It's still pretty chilly outside, but looking at the lunar calendar, it says it's Ip101, which means the beginning of spring. Our ancestors had the habit of putting up good messages on top of gateways, and Ip1원 대길 means we hope to have good fortune in the coming year. And we wish you good fortune in the next year. Let's welcome today's contenders onto our stage. Welcome to our stage. We have the MXT team, Steve Hahn and Eric Kim. So, tell us why you chose MXT.
MXT is the name of our computerized golf club fitting service that we've just introduced to Korea.
Ah, I see. Well, thank you for joining us, MXT,
Thanks
and
for
good luck to
having
you. And we have, going against MXT, the Faith team, Gilbert Park and Choi Jung-hyun. So, why Faith?
A lot of things happened to me last year, so I just felt I need a lot of faith in Jesus, who I love, and also in myself.
All right. Well, good luck to both teams, Faith and MXT. Let's get on with the game. In our first section, we give you 10 multiple choice questions. If you get all 10 correct, we give you 50 bonus points. You can use chance once, call it out, and we will take away 2 of the incorrect choices. Now, MXT, you get to choose Q, U, I, or Z.
I'll pick a Q.
All right, going with questions at Q, number 1. Of the following, which does not melt in your mouth? 1, cotton candy. 2, ice cream. 3, gum. 4, chocolate.
3.
Question number 2. Of the following, which is not a blood-sucking animal? 1, tick. 2, mosquito. 3, cricket. 4, praying mantis.
3.
Surprised by your partner's answer?
I didn't know that praying mantises did that, actually.
And you learn something fascinating on our show every day.
Already.
We go to question 3. Of the following, what is the longest river in Asia? 1, Mekong. 2, Yangtze. 3, Ganges. And 4, Han.
Number 2.
Question number 4. What is the international radio distress signal? 1, 10-4. 2, Mayday. 3, Save Me. 4, SOS.
Number 2.
Moving on to question 5. What sport uses the term double axel? 1, swimming. 2, motor race. 3, boxing. 4, figure skating.
4.
And since you guys are in the golf business, are you good golf players?
Try to be anyway.
Single?
A little bit when we're on.
Ah, well, moving on to question 6. Bikini Atoll is located in which island group? 1, Marshall Islands. 2, Solomon Islands. 3, Coral Sea Islands. 4, Caroline Islands.
2.
Well, it is actually number 1, Marshall Islands. You end the section with 50 points on the board. And now, Faith, they have left for you U, I, and Z sets. Which would you like to have?
U.
Okay, going with set U, number 1. Of the following, which country is the world's largest producer of wine? 1, Italy. 2, Chile. 3, France. 4, England.
Number 3.
Do you drink wine?
Yes, sometimes.
Do you have a favorite?
No, I don't.
Any sort of wine is good. Question number 2. Of the following, what is the term that is used in bowling meaning 3 consecutive strikes? 1. Big strike. 2. Perfect. 3. Triple. 4. Turkey.
4.
Are you a bowler?
Yes.
She really likes bowling.
And you have a good score, I suppose.
Not really.
But you enjoy
I
the
just
sport.
enjoy it.
I see. We're going to question 3 now. Of the following, which war included the Battle of Alma? 1. Crimean. 2. Boer. 3. Spanish American. 4. War of the Roses.
Chance?
We'll take away 2 of the incorrect choices. And now, Faith, make your final selection.
Number 1.
Very good. Good use of chance. And now moving on to question number 4. Of the following, which instrument has the most number of strings? 1. Cello. 2. Violin. 3. Guitar. 4. Contrabass.
Number 3.
It was a good guess.
Yes.
And going to question 5. Of the following, what is the color of mourning in Muslim countries? 1. Black. 2. Red. 3. Blue. 4. White.
Number 2.
Actually, it is white, which is the color of mourning, as it is in Korea as well. Women deck out in white and black. Faith, you end the section with 40 points. MXT, you are in the lead, 50 points. I know both you teams haven't racked up so many points in the first section. However, we have many points ahead. This second section is where we see how you work as partners. And we give you a list of 20 words in a pre-chosen category. You are given 100 seconds to go through the entire list. If you pass, we do not go back to that word, so be careful. And so, MXT, if you're ready, please take a position next to me.
Okay.
And your category is politics. Do you have a favorite politician?
Oh.
Someone you
Don't know.
admire?
I'd say Reagan. That probably dates myself, but too far back though.
Reagan you admire?
I think so.
Why?
I think the impact he made on America is, at least in my lifetime, was so big. I think that's very impressive.
I see. Economically, I suppose. Strongly?
I think ethically,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Are you ready?
All that family stuff and going back to church and all that.
Ah,
I think that was good for America.
I see. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Go.
It's what a politician goes on to get elected. He starts pass.
Caucus?
Republican, Democrat. Republican, Democrat,
Opposite party?
pass. Winston,
Churchill.
okay. The type of government where everybody has a say, where the people rule. The type of government, not communism, but
Socialist.
no. Pass. Pass. To ask a question to many people to get
Paul?
statistics.
Paul?
Starts with an S. To ask many people a question and then you get some data. Pass. Before it becomes a law, this gets introduced into Senate and they discuss it. Before it becomes a law. Okay, pass. The office part of the White House. The office
Oval.
section of the White House.
Overall house? Overall
No,
office.
the pass. Not Socrates, not Plato. He's the third
Philosopher.
guy. Yep. All right.
This category proved to be pretty tough to
Yeah, it
describe.
was tough, harder than I thought.
The philosopher we were going for was Aristotle. And the wing in which most of the work, the official work, is carried out is the West Wing, and there's also a big, very popular TV series. You end the section with 70 points.
Thank you.
And Faith, it's your turn. You chose Switzerland as your category. Have you ever been?
No. Oh, yes.
You have been to
Well,
Switzerland.
I was really young, so I didn't know, but my dad told me that I've been to Switzerland while I was studying about it. So,
Oh.
yes.
I see. So you were there, but you just never knew it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Go.
Song, Y.
Yodel.
The capital, B.
Bern.
And the instrument, A.
Alpinoid.
And Dunang, R. Dunang. He
Red
made.
cross.
And Swiss is very famous for this. Clock, W.
Watch.
And the biggest city, Z.
Zurich.
And pass. And this is a food. It's not chocolate. C. Pongdui. Pongdui. C.
Cheese.
And apple. Story. Arrow.
William Tell.
And the middle, J. The middle.
Geneva.
No. My name is Che.
John.
Okay. Pass. Pass. This is a movie. S. The
Song
songs
music.
are like where Heidi lives. A.
Elf.
And the money. They use.
Franc. Swiss franc.
And the food, they dip it in the cheese. F.
Fondue.
And international, I don't know, it's related to sports. I.
IAE. No.
Pass.
Pass.
Okay. We talked about this company yesterday, N. And
Nestle.
And pass. Pass.
Faith, you did a good job of increasing your lead on this section. The committee you're looking for is the International Olympic Committee, IOC, and you didn't get to the, we passed on the architect Le Corbusier, and Jung is the guy we were going for. And you end the section in the lead, 170 points. Good job, Faith. And so now, let's welcome Mr. David Hwang.
Hello.
Hi, nice
everybody.
color sweater you're wearing.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's very springy.
It's very springy. Yes, it's right around the corner, as the calendar tells us. So anyways, though, I enjoy the game from backstage. There's plenty of points left. Let's get it on. Ready? All right? All right, this next section is a round of non-multiple choice questions. The first team to buzz in will get the first chance to answer. If that team gets it wrong, the question wrong, that chance will be given to the other team. Now, if you guys both get it wrong, we'll help you out with the help of a spelling hint. And there's 15 questions in all, 30 points per question, plenty of points, and 5 seconds to answer each one. Okay? Any questions? No?
Number
Okay.
one, please.
Number one, here we go, is about person. This person had starred in 70 short films before finally making his first feature-length film in 1921. The Kid also featured Jackie Coogan, a notable child star in early Hollywood. Which famed film star starred in his first feature-length film, The Kid, in 1921?
MXT.
Charlie Chaplin.
And MXT, you're on your way to catching up. Let's move on to question two.
We'll only give you the points if you do us an impersonation of Charlie Chaplin. Just kidding. All right, here we go. Question number two is about country. According to the Old Testament, Noah's Ark landed on Mount
Turkey.
MXT.
Turkey, sorry.
And it's already 130 versus 170. And let's move on to our next question.
All right, question three is about health. People who smoke low blank cigarettes are just as likely to develop lung cancer.
MXT.
Tar.
And already this is becoming a very close game. Faith is leading by 10 points at 170. However, MXT is right behind with 160 points. Let's move on to question 4.
Question 4 is about sports. Formerly called a hockey line, the term oki apparently comes from the Old French word ochre, meaning cut a notch in. Players in this sport must stand behind an oki line prior to tossing their projectiles. Which sport uses such a line?
Let's take a look at the hint. Tossing the projectile. MXT.
Darts.
And MXT, you've got the lead. 190 versus Faith's 170. It's a very close game. Let's move on to our next question.
Any dart fans here, by the way? Are you a dart fan?
I guess you are.
I'm a big dart fan. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Cricket, you ever play cricket? It's a dart. Nobody? Nobody's with me here? I'm by myself. I'm sad. Okay, anyway, question number 5 is about planet. This planet is more than 3 times brighter than
Faith.
Mercury?
MXT, it is your chance to answer. He'll finish the question.
Sirius, the brightest star in the universe. Due to its prominence in the sky, the Romans named the planet for their chief god this. It is best known for its giant red spot. What is this planet? The 5th from the sun and the largest planet in the solar system.
And MXT, you have 5 seconds.
Jupiter.
MXT.
Jupiter.
And just a reminder, we only credit you if you've been called after you've buzzed in. So let's remember that, and let's move on to question 6.
Okay, question number 6 is about literature. In celebration of the 200th anniversary of this person's birth, the French government designated this year as the year of this person. She goes by the pseudonym rather than Amandine Aurore Lucille Baron Dudevant, and she is better known as the lover of Chopin. Who is this?
Chopin's lover. And why don't we take a look at the hint? There was a movie about their relationship, and her pseudonym is very interesting because it's very masculine. You would think, just by looking at the name, it must be a man. Just fit in whatever names you can into that little Faith.
George Mayo.
MXT, 5 seconds. We're looking for George Sand. And moving on to our next question.
That was a good guess, George Mail. I like that one. Very masculine. All right. Question number 7 is about issue. On the 9th, the Iraqi Government Council agreed to a federal system which acknowledges the self-government of 3 northern blank states. These are semi-nomadic tribal people who have for centuries inhabited a mountainous region of southwestern Asia. Who are these people who have continuously demanded independence since the Iraqi war?
MXT.
Kurds.
Yes. And moving on to 8.
Moving on, question number 8 is about entertainment. This cartoon hero has joined the select group of individuals to be featured on Euro coins. The honor of his very own silver Euro coin in his native Belgium marks his 75th birthday. It first appeared in newspapers.
MXT.
Tintin.
Yes, it is. Did the dog's name give it away? Or are you a big fan of the cartoon?
You know, this is embarrassing, but my little nieces have told me that my hair sort of does a 10-10 thing.
Oh, now that you mention it.
Oh.
And let's move on to our next question.
Question number 9 is about city. Founded in 1857, this city grew in size and became important as a center of tin mining and rubber industries. Today, it is a modern commercial center with one of the world's tallest buildings, the twin Petronas Towers at 1,483.
MXT.
Kuala Lumpur.
And Faith, you've got to take the risk and just buzz in and try out your answers. Let's move on to question 10.
Question 10 is about movie. The star of Mission Impossible and Minority Report, Tom Cruise lifted weights for 8 months to bulk up his muscles, gaining 12 kilograms of them to play the role of Captain Nathan Algren, an American Civil War veteran tasked with modernizing the
MXT.
Japanese.
The Last Samurai.
And moving on to 11 now.
Question 11 is about plant. The name of this plant especially denotes the commonly grown English blank, which climbs by aerial roots with adhering discs that develop on the stems.
MXT.
Ivy.
And while ivy is very attractive, it's very damaging to the brick
Yeah.
on which it grows. So you have to think about it before you plant it. Let's move on to question 12.
Question 12 is about science. This single-celled animal has a name that means change, which can only be seen through a microscope, and ultimately is derived from the ancient Greek. The animal eats by flowing around its food and encasing it in a food vacuole. What is this tiny single-celled animal?
Let's take a look at the hint. MXT.
Amoeba.
Yes, it is. Going to 13, please.
13 is about music. Although this musician only lived from 1898 until his early death in 1937, he composed many different and popular songs for more than 20 years. Some of his works were done with his brother Ira. Who is this musician who composed?
MXT.
George Gershwin.
Do you have a favorite Gershwin tune?
I guess Rhapsody in Blue.
Is that your favorite too?
Yes, of course it is.
Okay. Moving on to question number 14, please.
Question number 14 is about sight. This structure in London was begun in 1050 and completed in 1065. It was rebuilt and enlarged in 1245 through 1250. Originally, this church of a Benedictine monastery is one of England's most important Gothic structures.
MXT.
Westminster Abbey.
And we have come to our last question.
Our last question, number 15, is about animal. All of this live in the southern hemisphere between the Antarctic latitude 78 degrees and the equator. It spends most of its life at sea, returning to land or ice shelves only to mate, nest, rear young, and molt.
Faith.
Penguin.
And it's very good to see Faith on the board. However, MXT, you win and get to go on to the finals. Congratulations. Faith, I know you have a lot of supporters at home. What do you want to say to them?
We're on the same club, ECS. I'd like to say hi to the ECS members and to my families, and I'm really sorry.
Well, it was great having you on our show. And now MXT, you know you're going to go against the Garu team. They're going for their 6th win in a row. What are you going to do?
We'll probably be punching bags like the rest of the people down the line. We'll give it a shot, though.
All right. Well, we'll be right back after this with the MXT team. Team to our final stage. Let's welcome back the Garu team. Welcome, Peter and Erin Garnhum. This is your attempt at win number 6. And it's good to see you here. You're going for continental U.S. tickets. You do have tickets to Hawaii in your pocket, but you're not satisfied.
No, must move forward, ever forward. Yeah.
Before it was one win at a time, now it's no, I'm not satisfied. What's going on?
I thought I'd take a more positive spin.
Okay, why not?
And it's a lovely red shirt. It was, I think, you in the red shirt last week.
Yes. Yeah, red's
nice.
his favorite color of ours. Canada. So.
I see. Well, MXT, that you know that they're going to go all out for this. What are you going to do?
We'll give it the best we can anyway. Thank you.
All right,
luck.
good luck to all
Good
of
luck.
you. Let's go to our final section. We'll give you 5 categories of questions, 5 questions each, ranked 10 to 50 points in difficulty. You get to choose which one you want if you get the first question correct. What are today's categories?
All right, today's categories are days in February, Q places, butterfly, E people, and famous Frenchmen.
And since this is the month of February, we'll go with days in February for 10 points. In the first week of April 1964, this group had the top 5 best-selling singles in the US. Formerly, their television appearances, MXT.
The Beatles?
Do you have a favorite Beatles tune? Easier for you to mention Gershwin than to mention a
Yeah,
Beatles song.
Gershwin's I only know one Gershwin, so it's easy to have a favorite.
I see. Do you have a favorite Beatles tune?
Oh, there's lots of them. I like Penny Lane myself. Kind of a strange answer, but.
And I know you know the Beatles, right?
Yes, my goodness. I think right now I like From Me to You.
Oh,
Do you know that song?
yeah, why?
If there's anything. Yeah, that's my favorite one right now. I don't know why. I'm in the love mood. The spring is coming around then.
All right.
Okay.
And so what would you like to have next?
We'll try days in February for 20, please.
Days in February for 20 points. On February 23rd, 1997, Scottish scientists announced what they had kept secret for 7 months. On February 14th, 2003, scientists decided that she should be put down. Garu.
Dolly.
She was the first cloned mammal, and she suffered several degenerative things, but she was having problems with her lung disease. So, Garu, you have the lead and you get to choose.
Okay, Q places for 10.
Q places, 10 points.
A night at the Ice Hotel isn't for everyone. Its 4-foot thick walls act as an excellent.
Garu.
Quebec?
Have you ever stayed over at the Ice Hotel?
Never the Ice Hotel, no.
Would you ever be interested?
Just to say I did it, yeah, that would be kind of fun.
So you'd sleep over?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think they give you like fur blankets and that sort of thing, so hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I thought maybe I'd like to drop by and take a picture in front of the Ice Hotel, but never to stay inside. It sounds very cold. And how do you get to choose?
Q places for 20.
Q places, 20 points.
Quezon City was the capital of this country from 1948 to 1976. Called Father of this country, Manuel Luis Quezon was the president from 1935 to 1944.
Garu.
The Philippines.
And MXT, to go against the very experienced Garu team, you have to buzz in quickly.
Oh, we're finding that out.
And Garu, you get to choose.
Okay, Q places for 30.
Q places, 30 points.
30 points. The Great Barrier Reef extends.
Garu.
Queensland.
And Garu, you get to choose.
We like this category, so Q places for 40.
Q places, 40 points.
Ruled by the Al Thani family since the mid-1800s.
Garu.
Qatar.
It is the only country in the world that has a name that starts with Q. So, and you get to choose again.
Okay, 50 points. Q places.
Closing out the category, Q places, 50 points.
Allusion to the city on 7 hills is frequently either a reference to this city or to Jerusalem. The Quirinal is one of the 7 hills at the northeast of this city. It is today identified with the official residence of the president and one of the symbols of the state. For centuries, the city has been called the Eternal City.
Garu.
Rome.
On the Tiber River. And Garu, you get to choose.
What do you think?
Oh, famous Frenchman sounds interesting. Let's try that for 10.
All right, trying out famous Frenchman for 10 points.
Hello, I'm the head of the French Cultural Center, Patrick Maurice. What do you first think when you think of France? Culture, art, or maybe wine? There are also many Frenchmen who have left their memorable names behind in history. Does anyone come to mind? Well, let's start the quiz then. The widespread notion of this Persian shortness lies in the inaccurate...
Garu.
Napoleon?
Apparently, the inaccurate translation of the Old French word meaning feet, or pied de roi to English, is the problem. The measure of 5 foot 2 inches is the pied de roi. However, that in English inches that we know actually goes to 5 feet 6 1/2. So that's not that short for a man of his, or
That
our
time.
generation
Yeah.
actually.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And I think, it kind of alludes to the fact that, it's really about the heart, if you have that passion and will, because we, I guess, tend to look at the appearance so much when obviously it's what's on the inside that counts. Isn't that true? No?
Definitely.
Okay.
But however, Napoleon's shortness does kind of add to the mystique of the man
True.
as one of the greatest military
True.
commanders,
And his little hand in his thing is pretty cool too.
which apparently might be due to his stomach ulcers.
Really?
Stressful job.
Yeah. Leading military campaigns to rule the world.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that might.
Yeah, might go to your
And
stomach.
how do you get to choose?
Famous Frenchman for 20.
Famous Frenchman for 20 points.
In 1649, this person was invited by Queen Christina of Sweden to Stockholm to instruct her in philosophy. But she could spare time for lessons only at 5 in the morning. He used to say men's thoughts freeze during winter month and died of pneumonia the following year. The inscription he chose was, "He who hid well, lived well." However, his most famous words are probably, "I think."
Garu.
René Descartes.
I think, therefore I am, is his favorite quote. And he's sometimes called the father of modern philosophy. And I know, MXT, you were kind of thinking of the answer, but you were, hesitant
Half a
about.
second too late, as usual.
Do you want to try out your buzzer to see? It is
Oh,
in working
man.
order. You just got to get to
It
it.
would have been better if it didn't work.
And how do you get to choose?
Okay. Famous Frenchman for 30.
Famous Frenchman, 30 points.
If you travel France, you may be more familiar with this company. In 1900, this company named after the last name of brothers Edouard and André.
Garu.
Michelin?
And do you know the name of their emblem, their little, what is that?
Oh, the
The
tube
mascot?
guy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I thought he was the Michelin Man. Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
well, actually, I think in America we do consider him the Michelin Man,
Yeah.
but he has a name.
Oh, really?
The Bendum is the name of this character that looks like a stack of tires.
Yeah. They're really famous for their restaurant guides as well, I think. Yeah, the Michelin 4 stars is really important.
And I think we would have mentioned that had you given us the chance.
Oh, sorry.
It's good. You knew the answer. And how do you get to choose?
Famous Frenchman for 40.
Famous Frenchman, 40 points.
This person has been admired by many historians for his intelligence and energy. He was also a great patron of the arts. He rebuilt the Sorbonne in Paris, supported promising writers, and founded the French Academy. During his service as Prime Minister, he helped France become the leading power in Europe. Called the Red Eminence, the most famous portrayal of him.
Garu?
Cardinal Richelieu?
And Garu, what would you like to have next?
Let's finish the category for 50.
All right,
please.
closing out the category, famous Frenchman, 50 points.
This person studied medicine but shifted to physical science at the Paris Observatory. He became one of the most versatile experimentalists of all time. In 1851, he gave a spectacular demonstration of the rotation of the Earth by suspending a pendulum on the 36th.
Garu.
Foucault.
Yes, it is Foucault. And the pendulum duplicated the rotation of the Earth on its axis. And MXT, I encourage you to buzz in quickly. And Garu, you get to choose.
Days in February for 30.
Days in February for 30 points. This book had little influence in its own day. However, for about a century, it was one of the most widely read and, some would argue, misread documents in the world. It is good to know what the great ideas are which have shaped history. On February 26, 1848, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Garu.
Das Kapital.
The chance answer goes over to MXT and published this book in London. In the book, they argued that the working class should rebel and build a communist society. What is this? MXT.
The Communist Manifesto.
And MXT, it is good to see you on the board. You get to choose.
E-People for 30.
E-People, 30 points.
IBM and the Korea Institute of Science and Technology, KIST, announced that they built one of the world's most powerful Linux cluster of supercomputers. This is the fastest computer in Korea and is reported to operate at 2.85 trillion operations per second. This is a prefix that is used to denote the quantity of something, such as in computing and telecommunications, a byte or a bit.
Garu.
Mega?
MXT, it is your chance to answer. He'll finish the question.
This refers to a value of 10 to the 12th power or 2 to the 40th power. What is this?
MXT, 5 seconds. MXT.
Terabytes.
Yes, it is Tera. And MXT, you get to choose. You get to choose.
E-People for 40.
E-People, 40 points.
The first was organized last summer in New York City. However, it didn't really materialize because police, having been tipped off about the event, arrived first. In Seoul, a group of young people formed and shouted that there was a UFO, and then they were soon dispersed. This is a group of people who usually organize through the internet, assemble suddenly in a public place, do something unusual, and disperse quickly. What is this?
Garu.
A flash mob.
And Garu, have you ever taken part in a flash mob?
Well, I've read about a little bit about them, but we haven't taken part.
No.
Would you ever?
Maybe for the right reason, yeah.
Depends on the stunt, I guess. If it's only saying, hey, but it involves nudity or anything like that, no.
They actually did have a news segment that said that all these people were involved in kissing at one point in a square.
In Chile, I think, yeah.
That broke the world record and made it into the Guinness Book. Would you do that?
Well, as long as it was kissing each other, I think it would be okay. Strangers,
And
I have my limits for everything.
How do you get to choose?
Let's try butterfly for 10.
All right, butterfly, 10 points. Last year, Nelson Mandela and this person were to be guests of honor at the Special Olympics opening ceremony. It is very significant that the former South African president and he joined the ceremony. After having retired from professional boxing, he went through difficult times. Garu.
Muhammad Ali.
Yes. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And Garu?
Butterfly for 20.
Butterfly, 20 points. This name was the FBI's code name for the case of British War Minister John Profumo and London call girl Christine Keeler, who was also involved with a Soviet military attaché. Profumo resigned his office in June 1963 when the relationship was revealed. In Denmark, they also called this butterfly. Garu.
Monarch? No.
MXT, it is your chance to answer. I'll finish the question. This is a type of neckwear, and it is worn on tuxedos when attending formal events. What is this? MXT, 5 seconds. MXT.
Bow tie.
Yes. And MXT, you get to choose.
Days in February for 40, please.
Days in February for 40 points. In 1994, a billboard for Coca-Cola in Vietnam beckoned to commuters with the slogan, "It's so good to see you again." On February 3rd, 1994, the U.S. President Bill Clinton ended this with Vietnam. Full diplomatic relations were established. Garu.
The Vietnam War.
MXT, it is your chance to answer. I'll finish the question. The U.S. has used these for both economic and strategic purposes. This is a prohibition by a country of the departure of ships or certain types of goods from its ports. What is this? MXT, 5 seconds. MXT.
Embargo.
And recently, the U.S. ended one with Cuba. And MXT, you get to choose.
For days in February for 50, please.
Days in February, closing the category, 50 points. Originally a Slavic settlement, this city was settled with Germans by the Margrave of Meissen in the 13th century. On the night of February 13th, 1945, Allied forces began a massive airstrike against the German forces in this city, killing 135,000 people and demolishing Garu.
Dresden?
Yes. Demolishing 80% of this beautiful city, which was Europe's foremost cultural center, one of them, before World War II. And how do you choose?
E-People for 10.
E-People, 10 points.
Currently, few firms subject this program to the same scrutiny that email receivers to stop spam, viruses, or abuse by employees. A survey found that almost 40% of staff in UK companies are using this while in the office. Many people, 42%, use it because, as its name implies, it is much faster.
Garu.
Instant messaging?
Yes. It's so much faster than emailing, isn't it?
And you know what they say? Actually, I read an article that instant messaging is actually helping heal communication problems between parents and children. As parents are learning to do instant messaging, they communicate with their children, but in a form of a medium that the kids are comfortable with. So they actually communicate better, and it helps bring their relationships closer, which is nice.
Which
actually.
is sad, thinking that rather than speak face-to-face, it's better to interface.
It's only the beginning. It can't substitute face-to-face communication, but it starts somewhere.
It works for us when our parents are halfway around the world.
Yeah, that also helps too in long-distance relationships as well.
Yeah.
And how do you get to choose?
E-People for 20.
E-People, 20 points.
Apple Computer Incorporated said it would introduce a smaller and cheaper version of this next month to challenge
Garu.
The iPod.
It's Apple's MP3 player. And you get to choose.
E-People for 50, please.
E-People, closing the category, 50 points.
As digital cameras have become popularized, anybody can express themselves through pictures on the internet more easily and more creatively. Colors changed, images sharpened, and parts of the picture moved or removed. This is a widely used image editing application, often used as the benchmark for other imaging applications.
Garu.
Adobe Photoshop.
Yes, it is. And Photoshop is why we all love to use the digital camera, because we can edit, right?
But as I said before, you can't get that moment picture with the digital camera.
But you can make yourself look thinner, which I think is...
You can do anything you want, basically, practically, right?
That's true.
Yes, you can fly around the picture if you want. And so you get to choose.
30 points, yeah.
Butterfly for 30. Butterfly for 30, please.
Butterfly, 30 points. In zoology, this term applied to marked changes in form during the life history of an animal. In a complete blank, a clear distinction exists between the various stages of development. MXT.
Metamorphosis.
Franz Kafka's famous novel is also called Metamorphosis. And MXT, you get to choose.
Butterfly for 40, please.
Not much of a choice, right? Butterfly, 40 points. A petty criminal is wrongly convicted of murder and sentenced to life in a French penal colony in Guyana. MXT.
Papillon.
And we have our last question on the board. Butterfly, 50 points. In 1961, meteorologist Edward Lorenz discovered the famous butterfly effect. Systems over time become unpredictable, and this idea gave rise to the notion of a butterfly flapping its wings in one area of the world, causing a tornado or some such weather event to occur in another remote area of the world. The butterfly effect became the essence of this theory. Garu.
Chaos theory.
Yes. Apparent randomness. And with that, and to a very strong game, Garu, you win yet again. Congratulations.
Various prizes are awaiting our winning contenders. Your first win will take you on a trip to Jeju Island. Your second win to Japan. Your third win will take you to China. And on your fourth win, you'll win a trip to Southeast Asia. On your fifth win, a trip to Hawaii. Your sixth win, a trip to the United States. And on your seventh win, you'll take the grand prize of a tour of Europe. We hope many of you join us.
MXT, this was a very tough game going against such experienced opponents. What do you want to say to your supporters?
Just say hi, everybody back at home watching over the internet, and congratulations, and good to see you go back home.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And now, Garu, you have 6 wins.
Yeah.
And that's going to
Wow.
get you to the continental U.S. Are you satisfied?
Well, we're going to have to go for Europe now because living in Canada, we've been to the continental U.S. on several occasions. So I think we're going to allow ourselves to think of Europe now.
All right. Well, congratulations. So Garu marks its 6th win. The next game will be very exciting because they'll be going for 7. So we'll see what happens next week. Join us again then. Bye-bye.